What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for December 25th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Merry Christmas. Thank you for spending your Christmas day with us. Hopefully, Santa was good to you. I know Santa was very good to my kids, so hopefully I wish you a Merry Christmas. And we're going to go a little out of order. If you want, check out this great ugly Christmas sweater available at Philly Goat. It's the leg lamp from A Christmas Story, but with an Eagles, the old school Kelly Green football leg on it. It's amazing. I wore it the other day to ride the trains with Santa. Got so many compliments on it. It's definitely green. It's awesome. Go to phillygoat.com. Buy it now for next year. That way you have it. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Get your other stuff there. You just got new Christmas money. I'm sure Grandma gave you a $50 bill or a $20 bill. Go buy yourself a shirt. phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. Quick update from yesterday's show. We talked about Harry Litwack, who was our final Philly Sports Advent Calendar gift. And there is indeed a statue of Harry right next to the John Chaney one in the lobby of the Liacouras Center. So next time you're at a Temple game, go out to the front entrance off of Broad Street and go check out the statues of Harry and John. All right, question of the day recap. Don't have the results yet because I am taping this early due to the holiday, but still time to get your answers into the text line. Who is the greatest college coach in Philadelphia sports history? Is it Herb McGee, John Chaney, Jay Wright, or Fran Dunphy? Get your votes in now on the voice and text line 267-495-8531, 267-495-8531. You're sitting around with your family today, have Granny call in. I'm sure Granny knows her college hoops. Have your dad, your grandpop, whoever. Call in. Let's flood this voice and text line 267-495-8531. Who is the greatest college basketball coach in Philadelphia sports history? Is it Herb? Is it Chaney, Jay Wright, or Fran Dunphy? Quick programming note. Speaking of Herb McGee, the latest Back to the Future was on Herb McGee. Be sure to check that out. It's a good, quick listen, especially when you're sitting around with family. That's Back to the Future with a PH, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Maybe Granny went to school with Herb. She might know him very well from the old neighborhood, whatever. Give it a listen. Tell Granny if she's on, like and subscribe. Tell Cousin Eddie, all of them, like and subscribe. Let's spread this. Let's spread some Christmas cheer in this day in Philly sports history and Back to the Future cheer. Let's go. And have Cousin Eddie give me a call on the text line or the voice line, 267-495-8531. Ask Granny for a better name. Grandmoms are always good with that. Ask her what we should name this text line. Anyway, going back now, our final 20 act of kindness for our 25 days of kindness. Call a friend or a family member who you haven't spoken to in a while, especially on Christmas. Make their day. Life is just way too short to hold grudges. We talked a little bit about this last week with making amends or forgiving someone, but call a family member or friend you haven't spoken to in a while, especially on Christmas. Tell them you're thinking about them, and it's not worth it. Just end it, call them, make their day, make everyone feel better, especially on Christmas. It's a good time to do that. All right, we do have two big games today. First, we'll start with the Sixers, and they are in Miami to take on the Heat. No word yet on Joe's injury. Obviously, I'm taping it earlier, so I didn't get the injury report from Sunday yet, but it seemed as though he was getting treatment and might be playing. They're 1.5-point favorites, which right now I think the line is reflecting probably him not playing, or just the uncertainty of it, I should say. But hopefully by the time we're waking up and reading this, he has time. It is a night game, so it gives him a lot more time to get the treatment. But they are in Miami to take on old Jimmy Buckets and the Heat. They are 19-14 all-time on Christmas Day, and that dates back to when they were in Syracuse as the Nationals. So they've played a lot of games on Christmas. And speaking of that, again, we'll go a little bit out of order today. But on this day, back in 1986, Sixers were playing on Christmas Day. And on December 25th, 1986, the Bullets came to Philly and beat the Sixers 102-97 at the Spectrum. Cliff Robinson led the Sixers with 28 points, 9 boards. Charles Barkley added 16 and 10, while Mo Cheeks had 17 and 9 assists. But the big story was Moses Malone's return to Philly after being unceremoniously traded on draft day earlier that summer. More on that in a minute. But all Moses did was come back, scored 28, had 21 rebounds and 5 blocks against his former team. He was traded for Jeff Ruland and Cliff Robinson, who Cliff Robinson led the Sixers in scoring that day. But that 28 and 9 was nice for Cliff. But I always say this, we got Cliff Robinson, not Clifford Robinson. Clifford was the better player. May he rest in peace. We got Cliff. We wanted Clifford. But that same offseason, they also traded the number 1 overall pick for Roy Hinson when they could have had Brad Daugherty and teamed him up with Charles Barkley and had Moses to kind of help train him a little bit. He had the words of wisdom. This was Dr. J's last season. If you want some bonus Back to the Future episodes, back in the end of May of this year, I did do an episode on this 1986 offseason and just the negative impact it had on the Sixers organization and how much it set them back. Moses got his revenge on this day, though, and it was the worst offseason ever for the Sixers. But on this day, the Bullets beat the Sixers 102-97, and Moses Malone's return to the Sixers after being unceremoniously traded, basically for Jeff Ruland, who never really could stay healthy, and Cliff Robinson, who was not Clifford Robinson. And Moses went on, I think he played almost like another almost 8 years, I think, something ridiculous, and they all thought he was old. And it's part of the reason why they traded him, but he got his revenge on this day, 102-97, as the Bullets beat the Sixers on Christmas Day in 1986. All right, Eagles. And I don't know. I really, really don't know. This team has me stumped. And the fact that this spread is 13.5, or it was as the time I'm recording this, is absurd. Like, that's all I can say. The way they've been playing, it's absolutely absurd. This team should not be favored by almost 2 touchdowns right now against anybody. And it's not like the Giants have not been playing halfway decent. Talent-wise, yes, there's a large gap between the Eagles and the Giants. However, they're not playing like it right now. So to see this at 13.5 is absolutely absurd. It opened at 10.5, but I don't know if that was like Eagles money coming in that raised it, Giants money coming in. I don't know, but I just think it's absurd, especially with the linebacker situation. I wasn't able to get the latest injury report before I record it, but with Murrow just being questionable, like hopefully he plays, but if he doesn't play, the Eagles have like 2 linebackers. They're going to have to call a guy or 2 up from the practice squad. All that being said, I want to say they're going to blow them out. I feel as though they need to blow them out. I feel like as much as we said on the question of the day the other day that everybody was like, well, let's just win. We don't really, and all the other stuff, if they take care of that, they'll win. I do feel style points right now matter. And I think because this team has played so poorly the past 3 games, I want to see a blowout. I just don't see right now the way they're playing how they're capable of doing it. On the season, we're 9-8-1 on our bets. Here's hoping we go 9-9-1 because I cannot take the Eagles minus the points on this. We'll take the Giants plus 13.5 to cover. I do think the Eagles win though. I think it's a disaster if they lose. So I do think they win. I still think they could win by between like 8 and 10. If it was the original spread at 10.5, I might have taken the Eagles. I just don't see how they're beating anybody by the way they've been playing by 2 touchdowns. It's just, I can't do it. Take the Giants plus the points is our official bet. Eagles to win though. The money line just is going to be ridiculous to bet though, because if they don't, make no mistakes about it. It's full blown. You think people are panicking now? lose this game this afternoon, and it might be Christmas riots in the streets of Philly if they lose this game this afternoon. I'm just saying it'll be brutal. And I thought about taking the over, but again, like I don't know, like 13 and a half points, you would think it would probably stay under. They're thinking the Giants aren't going to score that much, but the Eagles can't. I don't know. I'm staying away from it. My lean actually is the over 43 on this. I'll probably bet that myself, but it's a good number, but that 13 and a half is just way too much. So officially, we're taking the Giants plus the 13 and a half, but the Eagles to win. Let me know. The question of the day, as always, on game days, give me your Eagles predictions. Let me know. Am I being a little too apprehensive? Am I not seeing the big picture? Am I missing something? Let me know. 267-495-8531. I mean, have Granny and Cousin Eddie and all the guys call me too. Like, let me know. Maybe I'm just missing it, but I hope I'm wrong. This is one time I hope I lose a bet. I would love to see them blow it out. I think they will do wonders for their confidence. They need it, especially on offense. Hopefully the defense can get to Tommy DeVito. But I'm just I can't, with confidence, I can't say they're going to do it. I hope they're going to do it. I think they're going to be able to do it, but I cannot 100% confidently say they're going to blow this team out and get to Tommy DeVito. So that's why I'm taking the Giants plus 13.5. But be sure to let me know if I'm wrong. 267-495-8531. Get your Eagles prediction in, and don't forget to vote for the Phillies' best college football or basketball coach. Is it Fran? Is it Herb, John Chaney, or Jay Wright? All right. So before we wrap up for today, from now, since we don't have any more advent calendar gifts to go, we're going to go through, and this is in no particular order, just going to kind of go through the top 7 moments of the Philadelphia sports year of 2024. We're going to start with the Flyers, and the big moment for the Flyers this year was the draft. They had the 7th pick. If you remember, throughout the year, we were tracking sort of their progress in and hoping that they were going to get win the lottery and get Connor Bedard. But they got the next best thing, I think you could say, is Matvei Michkov kind of just fell to them because a lot of teams were concerned that he had a contract in the KHL. He's definitely considered sort of like a top 3 talent, but again, concerns with the KHL contract. He's still young, and I think widely considered the steal of the draft, and they're kind of setting up a good culture now the way the Flyers have been playing for when he comes in. Now they're going to have sort of a winning culture, and hopefully that's going to play well when he comes over. They also drafted defenseman Oliver Bonk, who by all stretches of the imagination everybody said was a great steal as well. Has an NHL pedigree as well. His dad Radic played in the NHL, so that's our first top moment for the Flyers. There wasn't much this year for them, as it was a long and arduous season, and they were one of the worst teams in the league, basically, for the 22-23 season. But the draft, they got the 7th pick, and Mishkov fell right in their laps. He's still playing in the KHL, but now he's playing well over there, and I think seeing the Flyers, maybe it'll motivate him to try to break that contract. I don't know how that works, whether the Flyers will have to pay the team over there money or the league or how that works. But that's our top number 1, or I guess if we're doing a ranking, it'll be number 7 top moment was the Flyers draft. The rest of this week leading up to New Year's, we'll go through our other top Philly sports moments of the year. But for today, it was the Flyers draft, getting Mishkov and Oliver Bonk, widely considered 2 steals in that draft, setting them up for the future. And now Danny Briere can just sit back and wheel and deal and pull the strings like the man behind the curtain at Oz. But that is today's top Philly sports top moment of 2023. On this day back in 1986, Bullets came to Philly, beat the Sixers 102-97. It was Moses Malone's return to Philly after being traded, and all he did was score 28 points, had 21 rebounds, and 5 blocks. But he's old. That's why they traded him. He's old. He showed them. Eagles take the Giants plus the 13.5. I do think the Eagles win. I hope I'm wrong. Let me know your picks on the voice and text line 267-495-8531. Maybe I'm just being paranoid and Debbie Downer, whatever you want to call it. But let me know what you think. Also, get your vote in for Philly's top college basketball coach. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time with your family. Again, if there's somebody in your family you haven't talked to in a while, give them a call. Reach out to them. It's not worth it. It's just dumb, especially around the holidays. Life is just way too short. So give them a call. Make amends. Whatever you got to do. Enjoy your time with your kids, your family, whoever. Tell Granny. Call the text line. Let me know how Herb McGee was. What was he like in high school? Whatever you got to do. But Merry Christmas, everyone. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. And until next time, go Birds.